What's up, gamers? The Red Dragon here, and we are checking out a little Dishonored gameplay. I thought this game would be appropriate for the subject because you play an assassin. And the subject for today's video is actually dealing with assassination. And it's really dealing with the question, is it possible for a normal, good, law-abiding citizen to become a killer, to become an assassin due to hypnosis? So I thought this was a really interesting subject, and the answer might surprise you. The reason I got on this is because the other day, I like watching the Discovery Channel. I like watching channels like that, History, Science, National Geographic. And a lot of people think, well, that's just for nerds, you know, or whatever. Or they consider it along the same lines as our education system in school and, you know, whatever. But I have to tell you, the stories that are covered on a lot of these channels, there's stuff that they don't teach you in school, and it's really entertaining. It's really fun to watch. They always talk about the cutting edge and stuff that's just right around the corner, or stuff that's already been produced and found. So anyway, this show, Curiosity, on Discovery Channel, each week they take a look at different topics. And the subject for this week was actually dealing with brainwashing and asking the very question, can a person be hypnotized and be ordered to kill? So what they did was that they had a team full of doctors, scientists, forensic psychologists, behavioral people, all these people coming together to help form on this supposedly scientific study. So I want to stress this in the beginning, that I do hope that this is real and that it is not staged or actors. I would hope, since it's Discovery, since they're claiming it's in the name of science, and the fact that they had people from Oxford, Harvard on there, I mean, these people are all putting all their reputations on the lines. Now, the way they did this was they started out with 200 people approximately. And they had to dwindle that down because not everyone is able to go into very deep states of being hypnotized. Not everybody can be hypnotized to the degree that these people or some people can. I think they said only about 10% of the population can actually go to the deepest layers of being hypnotized. And so they have to take this group of 200 who have signed off on being involved in this test, and they have to take that and figure out how many people are actually capable of reaching that very deep layer of being hypnotized. So they started doing a number of tests. You know, one of the tests was to hypnotize them to forget their name. If they didn't remember their name, then those would be a group that at least it's possible that they're being hypnotized. The problem, though, that I saw right offhand whenever this show started was, I was like, how do you know that those people aren't faking it? Because, look, this is a TV show, and when you sign up to do a TV show, people want to get on camera. People want to get on TV. You don't want to be part of the film that didn't make the cut, you know, that ends up in the editing room. And so people have a tendency to fake stuff, exaggerate. So these people, all these forensic psychologists and behavioral people, that's the reason they've been brought in, to monitor these people, how they're reacting, to see if it's a real legitimate reaction or something that's just being faked. So they go through there, they do a number of tests. One of them was to go into a high-end restaurant, and they took off their clothes because they felt the chairs were super hot. And some people took off their clothes and some people didn't. So the number kept on going down with each test. But still, even with these people watching, which, by the way, they weren't told that they were being watched, but even while that, it's still possible that they could be faking. They could be trying to just impress the hypnotist or whatever. So they had to develop a test that would throw out completely the idea that these people are faking. So what they did was they came up with a test where they said they made up this bath. And the bath had ice water in it and ice cubes. The temperature was 33 degrees. And so they told the participants that they were about to enter a warm jacuzzi. And of course, you know, getting into a ice-filled bath, that is going to have some real shock value to the person who steps into that. You're probably going to gasp for air. Your heart rate will increase while it tries to pump more blood harder in order to keep your body warm. So you'll have a lot of changes in your body if you step into that water. So at this point in the show, they had dwindled it down to like, I think 5 people who they felt were possibly capable of going deep enough and who they just wanted to rule out they weren't faking. So 4 people get into the tub and they have all these reactions that you would expect a person to have who just stepped into an ice cold bath. They gasped for air. They immediately wanted to get back out. But then they take this last guy, who, by the way, is a correctional officer, and so far as we know, has a pretty clean record and a good track record of being a good, decent person. Then he steps off into this ice-cold water, and you wouldn't know that it was ice-filled water. It looked like he stepped into a warm jacuzzi. He stayed in that bath for 2 minutes. His heart rate not changing, his composure not changing, his jaw wasn't chattering, nothing. So his mind felt that the water was warm, and he was able to do this for 2 minutes. So they thought, out of those 200 people that they started with, here's the one guy who, if it is possible that you could be hypnotized in order to carry out an assassination, it's probably going to be this guy, because he's deep enough to where he doesn't even feel the extreme temperatures of this. So they go in and they set him up. They tell him, they act like it's an exit interview, and they tell him his time on the show was over. They appreciated him participating, but that was the end of the study. And then right before it's over, the hypnotist walks in, shakes his hand, letting him know, it was good working with you. And then he puts him under one last time. And they claim that the more times that you go under hypnosis, the easier it is. So this guy just went in, with a drop of a hand, literally. And they inform him that once he leaves the building, he's going to be met by somebody who shakes his hand and tells him he did a great job. And whenever he does that, that's supposed to be the trigger in his head that makes him go and want to do the rest of these things, which is go over to a motorcycle, there's a backpack, pull out a gun, and there's going to be a dignitary leaving the building, getting into a van. Your order is to shoot that person. And so I'm watching all this play out, and the timer's getting lower and lower, and I think he's just not going to do it, because you're not going to do something that you wouldn't do as a normal human being when you're not hypnotized. And sure enough, he meets the guy. He shakes his hand. He walks over, and he pulls out the gun. He walks over, and he shoots. At this point, I literally had chills on my skin, because so many things are going through my mind. Because if this is possible, that's all I want to know. I'm not saying that, I'm not some conspiracy theorist saying that Bobby Kennedy was killed due to an assassin who was hypnotized. I'm not saying all that. I just want to know if it's possible, if it is all possible that a person could be hypnotized in order to carry out an assassination. And with this particular test, even though the gun, of course, was not real, it was an airsoft gun. I guess I should make that point, that nobody actually died on the show. But everybody else was actors except for this guy, supposedly. This doesn't scientifically prove that it's possible. It's just one test. And of course, in order to scientifically prove something, you need to be able to replicate it time and time again. And so they're going to have to do a number of tests, of course, on this, and this is just the beginning. And they even mentioned in the very beginning, a lot of the scientists didn't think that this was even possible. Some of them said, they even admitted, though, that there's so much to the brain that we don't know at this point, that we're still learning. They don't even really know how or understand how hypnosis works precisely. Like, they have clues, they have ideas, but they really don't know. They just know that you enter some state where you're more easily susceptible to ideas and suggestions. And so if this is true, I think it's definitely worth researching. I want to know, and it's kind of scary, especially since the government's been toying around with this for so long. But what's even scarier is not the fact that it happened to this guy. Let's say that this is true. Let's just say that for a moment that it is. This was with a guy over the course of a few days. But the scary part would be realizing what would happen if you were working with somebody for a month, for 6 months, making them go under and you know, kind of, I guess, training them, reprogramming them, what you could do with somebody at that point. So it's pretty interesting. I thought it was a great show. You guys should definitely go check it out. That's Discovery Channel, the show Curiosity, and they show a lot of reruns. They'll definitely be replaying it because it was a pretty popular show and program the other night. There you go. Post below. Let me know what your thoughts are about this. And did you think before that it was possible? Do you still think that it's possible or not possible? I want to know. Comment, leave a like, and of course your subscription is always appreciated as well. That does it for me, The Red Dragon. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. What's up, guys? I want to do a quick follow-up for you because for me, the most important thing whenever I do these commentaries, you know, if I'm going to grow my audience, my reputation is pretty important. So I want to make sure that I give you guys as much information as possible and to be as accurate as possible. So as I was going through, after I had completed this video, which took me a good bit of time, I was researching, trying to get some more links to post down in the description box, and I came across some websites that actually had the lead guy, the guy who created the assassination, and he was listed as an actor. And so a few people have caught on to this, and I think it definitely raises some flags into the legitimacy of this. I'm not saying that an actor can't be hypnotized, but it would have been a lot better, I think, for the show to tell us up front that he was an actor instead of saying that he's just a correctional officer. Now, granted, the one website that I did find, it listed him as a part-time actor, but did say that his profession was correctional officer. And the show is still standing by the experiment, claiming that it was legitimate. And they've put out an FAQ, so I'll definitely link that in the description box as well. But I did want to say that, you know, because I think it is something whenever you are considering a story of this magnitude to consider everything and consider all the facts. And so I wanted to put those forward to you. And like I said, if nothing else, it does raise flags about this. And I'm really disappointed in the show Curiosity for that, as well as the Discovery Channel. I would have thought that they learned their lesson with Man vs. Wild when we found out that Bear Grylls wasn't staying in the wild completely by himself. But anyway, I just wanted to say that I'm not ruling this out. I mean, research on hypnosis and things like this has been going on for a long time. The CIA had a project called MK Ultra back in the 50s and 70s. And whenever they started getting, you know, a spotlight shown on it, and it was about to be unraveled what they were experimenting and doing with unknowing civilians using mind control, the CIA director actually had all the files destroyed from the project. So there's a lot that we don't know about hypnotism. There's a few files that have been found, but the vast majority of the information was destroyed by the lead CIA officer. So it makes you wonder what is possible, and that's what we want answered. That's all we want answered, is to know what's possible. And we don't want any, you know, just entertainment TV shows telling us what is science. We need real science, real experimentations and research, and hopefully we get that, and hopefully we got that with this show. But I think there are questions now because the lead guy is an actor. I'll leave all the information in the links in the description box. You can check it out as always. And as always, I would appreciate your like, comment, and your subscription as well. That's it for me, The Red Dragon. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.